Welcome to the deep dive. So you've probably heard terms like bucket, maybe S3, ADLS, or GCS floating around the cloud world.
Oh, yeah. And I maybe felt a bit, lost. Like, what are these things?
Exactly. It happens. They sound technical, maybe a bit obscure.
But they're really not just background noise. Cloud storage is, well, it's fundamental. It's pretty much the foundation for any modern data platform you can think of.
Right. So whether you're deep in the tech or more focused on the business side, getting a grip on this stuff, it's actually essential.
It really is. It's like trying to understand a skyscraper without knowing anything about its foundations. Everything else kind of rests on it.
And if that foundation, that understanding is a bit shaky, well, that can lead to some nasty surprises.
Definitely. Think unexpected cost blowouts. Or worse, potential security gaps, things you really don't want.
Okay, so that's what this deep dive is about. We're going to unpack the absolute essentials of cloud storage. Ready to jump in?
Let's do it. So the core idea behind most of this cloud storage stuff is something called object storage.
Object storage. Okay, how's that different from, folders on my computer?
Great question. It's quite different, actually. Instead of that nested folder structure, files inside folders, inside drives, object storage treats every single piece of data as its own standalone object.
An object, okay, like a
Yeah.
self-contained unit.
Exactly. Picture, I don't know, forget filing cabinets. Think of a massive, ginormous warehouse, just huge.
Okay, got the warehouse.
And inside are millions, maybe billions, of perfectly labeled boxes or packages. Each package, that's your object.
Right. And inside the package.
Inside, you've got the actual data itself, plus some descriptive info, we call that metadata. Things like when it was made, what kind of data it is.
And crucially, a completely unique address label, right?
Precisely.
Yeah.
That unique identifier is the key. That's how you find that specific package in the giant warehouse.
Makes sense. So if you have millions of these objects, how do you, organize them? Can't just have them scattered everywhere.
Good point. You group them logically. These groups are usually called buckets. That's the term AWS and Google Cloud use. Azure calls them containers.
Buckets or containers. So like big drawers for different projects. Keep related objects together.
That's a perfect way to think about it. A bucket for Project Alpha, another for marketing analytics, and so on.
Now, you said no folders earlier, but people do talk about folders in S3 sometimes. How does that work?
Yeah. That's where the object key, that unique name, gets clever. While there aren't actual folders like on your PC, you can structure the names of your keys using forward slashes.
Like Project Alpha datalog-file-1.txt.
Exactly like that. That slash makes it look and feel like a folder structure, even though technically it's all flat within the bucket. It's a naming convention that helps us humans organize things.
Clever trick. Okay, so we have objects and buckets, but what about like cost and speed? Not all data needs the same treatment, right?
You're hitting on a really important point. That's where storage classes come in. The providers know that different data has different access needs. Well, think about it. Why pay premium prices for super fast access to data you might only look at once a year, if ever?
Right, like old server logs maybe? For compliance checks down the line.
Perfect example. Those can go into a cheaper, colder storage class, maybe an archive tier. Access might be slower, maybe take hours, but the cost savings can be huge.
But the data feeding, say, my live sales dashboard, that needs to be instant.
Absolutely. That belongs in a hot tier like S3 Standard or Azure Hot, optimized for frequent, low-latency access. You pay more, but you get the speed you need. It's about matching the class to the use case.
Makes sense. Choose the right tool for the job, basically. What about where the data physically lives? Does that matter?
Oh, hugely. Cloud storage is regional. You have to choose a geographic region like US East or Frankfurt or Singapore when you create your bucket.
And why does that choice matter so much?
Several reasons. First, latency. If your users are mostly in Europe, storing your data in Australia means slower access for them. Simple physics.
Okay, speed. What else?
Compliance. Big one. Think GDPR in Europe. It often mandates that certain data must stay within specific geographic boundaries. Choosing the wrong region can put you out of compliance.
Yikes. Okay. And cost, I assume.
And cost, yes. Prices can vary, sometimes significantly, between different cloud regions. So region selection impacts latency, compliance, and your bill.
Lots to consider there. Okay, one more crucial piece. Security. How do you control who gets to touch all this data in the buckets?
Right. That's where IAM comes in. identity and access management.
IAM sounds like a bouncer.
That's actually a great analogy. IAM is the gatekeeper for your cloud resources, including storage. It lets you define exactly who, which users, which applications can do what.
Like read-only access for one team, but full read-write for another.
Precisely. You set up policies that grant specific permissions. Can this user list objects? Can that application write new objects? Can anyone delete objects? You control it granularly.
Based on that principle of least privilege, right?
Right.
Only give the access that's absolutely needed.
That's the gold standard. Don't give anyone keys they don't need. IAM is fundamental to keeping your cloud storage secure.
Okay, so bringing this all together, what does knowing this stuff actually mean for people in the real world, say for business leaders?
For leaders, even if you're not configuring buckets yourself, understanding these basics, it lets you ask much smarter questions. Like, are we using lifecycle policies effectively? Automatically moving old data to cheaper storage tiers to save money. Do we really understand our cloud storage bill? What's driving the costs?
And are we compliant? Is our data in the right regions for regulations like GDPR or CCPA?
Exactly. Those are the kinds of informed questions leaders can ask when they grasp these fundamentals. It drives better strategy and cost management.
Makes sense. And for the data folks,
Yeah.
the engineers, analysts, scientists.
Oh, for them, this is bread and butter. This is daily work. Configuring buckets, writing those IAM policies correctly, choosing the right storage class for performance and cost, troubleshooting when someone suddenly can't access data they need.
So it's not just knowing about it, it's actively doing it.
Absolutely. And, as the folks at Curate Partners often see, having this foundational knowledge solid, it's a real differentiator.
How so?
It moves you beyond just following instructions.
Yeah.
It lets you become more of a trusted architect, someone who can design and build systems that aren't just functional, but also efficient, secure, and cost-effective from the ground up.
Because you understand the building blocks properly.
Precisely. We see it all the time. Teams that really nail these fundamentals. They build faster. They avoid costly mistakes. Their systems are more robust. It just creates a much smoother path to success for their data initiatives.
It really does sound like the essential launchpad then, whether you're leading the team or building the pipelines.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Getting this cloud storage foundation right is, well, it's crucial for everyone involved in data today.
Agreed. Well, this has been incredibly insightful. Really demystify a lot of those core concepts. Glad we could cover it. And if you want to go even deeper, the full blog post really expands on all these points. Lots more detail there.
Definitely check that out. And of course, if you're a business leader looking to assemble top-tier data talent or a data pro looking for that next great role,
Curate Partners is always a good place to connect. They specialize in exactly that.
fantastic. Well, thanks again for joining this deep dive.
My pleasure.
And thank you for listening. Keep that curiosity going and keep building smart out there in the cloud. Until next time.